Welcome to our channel. Have you ever felt that someone in your life, despite appearing friendly and trustworthy, was actually the source of your deepest confusion and pain? They might be a colleague, a friend, or even a family member, hiding manipulation and deceit behind a charming exterior. Today, we're diving into an important and thought-provoking topic: how to recognize the signs of truly toxic individuals. Understanding these signs isn't just about curiosity. It can change the way you protect yourself and navigate your relationships. As Stoic philosophy teaches, only by living with reason and integrity can we truly find peace. Together, we'll explore how to identify subtle signs of toxicity and build stronger, healthier relationships. Stay with us as we reveal key indicators of toxic people in your life. We'll be sharing practical insights to help you stay in control, live mindfully, and keep negative influences at bay. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. And now, let's begin. First sign: charming but deceptive behavior. Some people have a remarkable ability to charm others, making you feel special from the moment you meet them. They know exactly what to say to make you feel valued and always seem to attract everyone's attention. At first, this makes you believe they are sincere and trustworthy. But after spending more time with them, something starts to feel off. The charm that once captivated you begins to feel rehearsed, like a mask they wear. They always manage to steer every conversation back to themselves, and over time, you start to feel overshadowed, unheard, and like the relationship revolves around their needs alone. This is a clear sign that you might be dealing with someone who is manipulating you. Imagine meeting someone at a social event. At first, they're incredibly charming, telling funny stories and making everyone around them laugh. But as time goes on, you realize that whenever you try to share something, they interrupt or shift the conversation back to themselves. While this might seem harmless initially, over time you begin to feel diminished, like your value in the relationship is disappearing. This isn't natural behavior, it's a subtle form of manipulation. They use their charm and charisma to keep you hooked. The compliments and attention you once enjoyed become tools they use to control you, making you feel obligated to meet their needs. In these situations, Stoic philosophy reminds us to stay grounded and keep our emotions in check. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This means instead of letting their charm and manipulation cloud your judgment, you need to recognize that while you can't control their behavior, you can control how you respond. For example, when you notice they are not truly interested in your feelings, but only in how they can benefit, take a step back and assess the situation with a clear mind. Ask yourself, are they really listening to me? Or is this relationship adding any real value to my life? Marcus Aurelius also taught that true peace comes when we control our thoughts and emotions, rather than allowing others to manipulate them. So when faced with someone charming yet cunning, the most important thing is to remain in control and not let their external actions sway your internal peace. Take your time to observe how they treat others in different situations. Toxic people are often great at hiding their true selves in the beginning, but when denied what they want, their true nature tends to surface. As Marcus Aurelius said, when someone is angry or tries to control the situation through anger, they are not acting with reason. If you notice that they get angry or blame you when things don't go their way, this is a major red flag. In these moments, it's crucial to stay calm and not let their negativity influence your actions. Rather than judging too quickly based on first impressions, be patient and evaluate how they react in various situations. You have the power to control your life, and protecting your mental well-being and inner peace should always be your top priority. Recognizing false charm is the first step, but it's just one piece of a larger puzzle. Stay mindful and protect yourself from those who may try to manipulate you through their charm. This is the first step to maintaining your freedom and peace in life. Sign number 2, lack of empathy. Have you ever felt misunderstood in an important relationship? Sometimes we hope for empathy from those around us, but are met with indifference and coldness. Such situations not only leave us disappointed, but also drain our spirits. This happens when we encounter people who lack empathy, unable or unwilling to understand others' emotions. So, how can we recognize these signs and protect ourselves? Empathy is not just the ability to understand others. It's the glue that binds human connections. When we are empathetic, we don't just listen, we genuinely understand what someone is going through. Empathy helps build enduring relationships, allowing us to know when to offer support and when to simply listen. Without empathy, a relationship becomes one-sided, where one person always carries the burden without receiving support in return. Ask yourself, in my current relationships, is there someone who truly empathizes with me and stands by me when I need it? If the answer is no, it may be time to reassess how you're dedicating your care to those around you. The signs of a lack of empathy may not be clear at first, but they gradually become evident over time. These people may not overtly show that they don't care, but they will display subtle behaviors. They frequently interrupt others, don't truly listen, or show indifference to others' feelings. They may never admit their mistakes, and often make you feel small or inadequate in every situation. Initially, these behaviors may seem like small annoyances, but over time, they accumulate and cause deep emotional harm. A person who lacks empathy is never truly present when you need them, leaving you feeling isolated and disrespected. When someone lacks empathy, they not only cause immediate harm, but also leave long-lasting effects. Those who interact with them often feel mentally drained, lose faith in the relationship, and sometimes blame themselves for not being good enough. In the workplace, a person who lacks empathy can create a stressful environment where respect and support do not exist. Leaders who lack empathy will push their employees to exhaustion without ever truly caring for their well-being. No one can thrive in such an environment. If you feel neglected and unheard in a relationship or at work, it's a clear sign that the person you're dealing with may lack this fundamental quality. When you recognize someone lacks empathy, it's important not to simply endure. You need to find ways to protect yourself. One of the most powerful ways is to set boundaries. You don't have to engage in every conversation that you know will hurt you. Set clear limits, and don't allow people who lack empathy to drain your energy. Stoic philosophy advises us to control our emotions and not allow external factors, especially untrustworthy people, to disturb the peace of our minds. Don't try to change others. Instead, focus on how you react to them. This not only helps protect you, but also preserves your composure and tranquility in all situations. Imagine sharing a great joy in your life with a close friend, but instead of receiving congratulations or shared excitement, they give you a dismissive response and quickly steer the conversation back to their own issues. Not only do they not care about your success, but they may also make you feel small in comparison to themselves. This is a clear sign of a lack of empathy, making you feel unappreciated and undervalued. Such behaviors might not be easy to notice at first, but over time, they erode trust and the bond between you and the other person. You may start questioning why you're the only one who cares about their feelings, but don't receive the same in return. When you feel that someone is continuously draining your energy or taking advantage of you, it's time to stop and reassess the relationship. You don't have to accept everything from them, and setting clear boundaries will help you protect yourself from negative individuals. For example, if you have a friend or colleague who constantly interrupts you or disrespects your opinions, be polite but firm in expressing that you're uncomfortable with how they treat you. This not only helps protect your mental well-being, but also sends a clear message that you deserve respect. Ultimately, when dealing with someone who lacks empathy, it's essential to know how to protect yourself. Don't let those who don't value you diminish your sense of self-worth. Hold your ground, be confident, and know when to set boundaries. Stoic philosophy teaches that self-control and inner peace are paramount. Don't let those who lack empathy undermine these virtues. You have the right to choose who stays in your life and who gets removed. Live in a way that brings you the most peace and happiness. Sign number 3, manipulation. Have you ever felt that something was off in a relationship, but you couldn't quite pinpoint what? For example, you might have a close friend who often pushes you into doing things you don't really want to do, yet you find it hard to refuse for fear of upsetting them. These situations are rarely accidental. They may be the result of someone's subtle manipulation. Manipulation is when someone tries to control or influence your actions and thoughts by twisting the situation to their advantage. This is not easy to recognize, as manipulators are often very skillful, using subtle tactics to ensure you don't realize you're being taken advantage of. Manipulation is not just about lying or persuasion. It's a form of control where the manipulator uses deception to turn your decisions into tools for their own benefit. For instance, imagine you have a colleague who always plays the victim when they make a mistake, then finds a way to shift the blame onto you. You feel pressured because you don't want to hurt their feelings, so you agree to take responsibility for their failure. Manipulators often exploit others' emotions to get what they want, and you may not realize you're being controlled. Manipulators use various tactics to achieve their goals. Here are some common behaviors to watch out for. Emotional manipulation. For example, a friend constantly asks for your help, and when you can't assist them, they start talking about all the sacrifices they've made for you in the past, making you feel guilty and forcing you to help, regardless of your situation. Gaslighting. Another example is when a partner denies a conversation you're sure happened, saying, "You're remembering it wrong, that never happened." After many such instances, you start doubting your own memory. Conditional praise. A manipulator might give you compliments, but only when they need something from you. For example, they tell you how good you are at your job right before asking you to cover their tasks, making it difficult for you to refuse. When you are manipulated, the psychological consequences are not just a loss of personal control, but also a weakening of your trust in yourself. For example, you may have a partner or a manager at work who continuously makes you feel that every mistake is your fault, even when it isn't. This erodes your confidence, making you more reliant on them to guide your decisions. You start doubting yourself, thinking your decisions are always wrong, and become dependent on the manipulator for direction. They make you feel powerless, stripping away your confidence to make decisions for your own life. How to deal with manipulation. Stoic philosophy encourages us to always control our minds and actions, no matter the influence of the environment around us. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Do not let what is not within your control govern your soul." This means we must learn not to let others cloud our judgment or undermine our personal values. When facing manipulation, a Stoic would focus on maintaining composure and reason, not letting others' emotions or words disrupt their mental balance. Recognizing manipulation and setting boundaries. An example of setting boundaries with a manipulator is when you have a friend who constantly demands your attention and help, but never reciprocates. You can say, "I'd love to help, but this time I can't, because I have other responsibilities to take care of." By doing this, you're establishing boundaries and asserting that you cannot do everything for others without balance in the relationship. When you start to feel like you're being controlled or manipulated, step back and assess the situation objectively. Some signs to watch for include: do they frequently put their needs above yours? Do they make you feel guilty when you don't meet their expectations? Do they try to isolate you from family and friends to better control you? If the answer is yes, you may be dealing with a manipulator. You have the right to say no and not meet all their demands. When communicating with a manipulator, always be straightforward and firm, leaving no room for them to twist the situation. One of the most effective ways to combat manipulation is by building relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. For example, if you have a friend or colleague who respects your opinions, they will never take advantage of you to achieve their personal goals. They are willing to help when you need it, without expecting anything in return. Seek out genuine friends who respect your personal freedom and are willing to support you when necessary. These relationships will help you maintain mental stability and avoid being drawn into the manipulator's control. Finally, always remember that you have control over your life, and no one can take that away from you unless you let them. In a relationship, if you notice that the other person frequently uses manipulative tactics to serve their own interests, without considering your feelings and needs, consider setting clear boundaries. If after many attempts to improve the situation, the relationship still doesn't change for the better, you have the right to make a definitive decision to protect your self-worth and personal values. Maintaining respect for yourself and creating healthy relationships is crucial in life. By holding firm to your principles, understanding yourself, and not letting others manipulate you, you can live a life of freedom and meaning. A Stoic would advise you that true spiritual freedom comes from controlling your reactions, not from controlling others. By protecting your values and self-esteem, you will always maintain peace and independence in the face of life's challenges. Sign number 4, controlling behavior. Have you ever felt trapped in a relationship but couldn't figure out why? Is there someone in your life who always makes decisions for you, and over time, you feel like you've lost your autonomy? Controlling behavior isn't always obvious. It often hides behind a facade of care and concern. The issue is that control isn't just about someone liking to give orders. It's a deep invasion into your personal freedom and your ability to make decisions for yourself. Imagine you have a friend who insists on deciding everything, from where to meet to what activities to do. At first, you think it's no big deal, but over time, you realize your preferences and opinions are increasingly ignored. They say things like, "I know what's best for us," or "You'll be happier if you follow me." These words sound harmless, but they are actually imposing. Slowly, you lose the freedom to make even the smallest personal choices. In Stoic philosophy, Epictetus once said that personal freedom is fundamental to living a virtuous and rational life. When someone tries to control you, they are acting against the very essence of a virtuous life. This behavior not only violates your freedom, but also hinders you from living according to reason and your true self. There are many ways that controlling behavior can manifest in our lives. It's not always direct. Often, it's subtle actions that are hard to detect right away. For example, in romantic relationships, a partner might demand constant updates on your whereabouts, even checking your phone and messages, and insisting on knowing all your passwords. They may justify this by saying it's out of concern for you, but in reality, it's a form of control. This creates a tense environment where you feel like you're walking on thin ice, always trying to avoid conflict. This control leads to a life where you no longer have the freedom to choose or act as you wish. In Stoicism, this goes against the most important principle, inner freedom. You may not control others, but you always have the right to control how you respond and maintain your calm under external pressures. Financial control is another way that people can dominate you. This often happens in relationships where one party controls all financial decisions. They might say things like, "I'll handle everything," or "You're not good with money, so let me manage it." At first, this may seem reasonable, but over time, you'll notice that you've become dependent on them. You no longer have financial freedom, and this makes it hard to leave the relationship if things go south. Stoicism emphasizes self-sufficiency and wise financial management as a means to avoid falling into mental slavery. Financial control doesn't just take away your autonomy, it makes you dependent on others, violating a fundamental human right. Another form of control is isolation. A controlling person might try to cut you off from friends and family. They'll convince you by saying, "Your friends don't really care about you," or "Your family is just causing problems." At first, these words may seem like genuine concern, but over time, you'll find yourself slowly distanced from loved ones. You become isolated, relying solely on the controlling person. In Stoicism, particularly in the teachings of Seneca, the importance of community and supportive relationships is emphasized. Isolation is seen as dangerous to personal and spiritual growth. We cannot live a full life if we are cut off from important relationships. Controlling people often use threats as a tool to maintain power. They might threaten to leave you, harm themselves, or even hurt you if you don't comply with their demands. This is the last tactic they use to make you fearful and afraid to stand up for yourself. Stoicism teaches us to confront fear. Seneca advises that true courage comes from not allowing anyone to threaten us with fear. It's crucial that we hold on to our personal values, reclaim our autonomy, and not allow others to manipulate us through threats. How to break free from control. When you sense that you're being controlled by someone else, the first step is to recognize the signs. Becoming aware that someone's actions are interfering with your ability to make decisions is the beginning of reclaiming control of your life. Then, you must boldly set limits for yourself, defining what you will and won't accept. This clarity helps protect your personal freedom and stops others from overstepping. More importantly, communicating your feelings, desires and boundaries honestly and directly will help the other person understand that you are not easily manipulated. Don't hesitate to seek support from family, friends, or a therapist if needed, as external support can help strengthen your resolve and better handle the situation. Stoicism reminds us that we cannot completely control the actions of others, but we can always control how we respond. By maintaining confidence and holding firm to your core values, you will be able to overcome external pressures. Remember, personal freedom always belongs to you, and no one can take that away unless you allow it. Sign number 5, pathological lying. In life, nothing destroys trust faster or more thoroughly than dishonesty. We can easily forgive a small lie meant to avoid conflict, but when lying becomes habitual, it begins to erode the foundation of any relationship. Some people don't just lie occasionally. They build an entire web of deceit around themselves, trapping those around them. Pathological liars don't lie simply to avoid awkward situations. They lie consistently and often without any clear reason. This creates a false reality where everything becomes ambiguous and difficult to grasp, breaking down trust and making communication difficult. People may sometimes lie to avoid conflict or protect others' feelings. However, pathological lying goes far beyond these harmless deceptions. It's continuous deceit, not just for personal gain, but sometimes simply out of habit. A pathological liar fabricates stories, distorts facts, and reshapes reality to suit their desires. This behavior may start with small lies, but it gradually escalates into a complex web of events that spirals out of control, ensnaring those around them in a web of deceit. When someone lies continuously, they not only harm relationships, but also create a fabricated world around them. This lying gradually destroys trust, making others unable to believe anything they say, leading to a sense of insecurity in the relationship. The more serious consequence is that a pathological liar not only deceives others, but also gradually deceives themselves. They may live in a fantasy world they've created, making every decision and action based on a false foundation. Stoicism and the value of truth. Stoic philosophy highly values honesty and integrity. To live a virtuous life, according to the Stoics, is to act based on truth and reason. Marcus Aurelius taught that humans should live in harmony with nature, meaning our actions must align with truth, not with the illusions we create. A pathological liar, on the other hand, goes against these principles. They create a reality that is out of sync with the truth, serving only their interests and weakening the spirits of those around them. Their deceit not only betrays others, but also hinders their own personal growth. Pathological lying often manifests in various forms in everyday life. For example, someone may begin by telling small lies, like exaggerating stories to make themselves look better or more impressive to others. However, over time, these lies become more complex, perhaps involving covering up personal mistakes or manipulating others to achieve their goals. Imagine you have a colleague who constantly brags about their outstanding achievements, many of which weren't actually done by them. They take credit for others' work or fabricate stories to build a better image of themselves. These lies not only erode trust, but also create a tense and conflicting environment where no one knows what is true and what is false. In personal relationships, pathological lying causes the breakdown of trust and damages relationships. When someone continually lies about small things, where they've been, how they truly feel, or what they've done, it makes their partner feel unsafe, doubtful, and even lose confidence in themselves. They may start questioning everything the liar has said, leading to a lack of security and anxiety in the relationship. In the workplace, pathological lying creates instability, making colleagues and supervisors unsure of who to trust. Someone might fabricate stories about their contributions to a project or spread false rumors about others, leading to conflict and division within the team. This doesn't just reduce work efficiency, but also causes unnecessary stress. Stoicism encourages us to stay calm and composed when dealing with liars. The most important thing is not to let ourselves be drawn into their stories and focus on what we can control. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, said, "The only thing we can control is our own thoughts and actions." When you realize someone is lying, instead of letting yourself get disturbed by their lies, remain calm and observe carefully. Pathological liars are often very convincing, and to avoid being affected, we need to verify all information through careful observation and evaluation, not easily believing what we hear without clear evidence. As we've seen, each sign of a toxic person requires self-awareness and protective actions. Setting boundaries is one of the most effective ways to deal with toxic behavior. Boundaries not only help us maintain our personal freedom, but also protect our mental and emotional health, ensuring that we are not overwhelmed by negative influences. Examples: a friend who constantly demands attention. If you have a friend who continuously asks for your help without ever reciprocating, you can say, "I'd love to help, but right now I have other responsibilities to take care of." This affirms that you cannot do everything for others without maintaining balance in the relationship. A colleague who frequently interrupts you. If you have a colleague who often interrupts or disregards your opinions, you can politely but firmly say, "I feel uncomfortable when I'm interrupted. I hope we can listen to each other more fully." This not only protects your feelings, but also sends the message that you deserve to be respected. Setting boundaries isn't about distancing yourself from others. It's about protecting your personal values and maintaining inner peace. When you respect yourself and ask others to do the same, you will build healthy, sustainable relationships and avoid the negative impact of toxic people. Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for supporting Philosophic Stoic. Always hold on to strength, wisdom, and continue living with sincerity according to your own values.